They came in peace and left with heartburn. The Galactic Harmony Coalition had explored countless worlds. They had seen empires rise and fall, witnessed the birth of stars, and negotiated peace between species that communicated entirely through scented vibrations. But nothing could have prepared them for Earth. Ambassador Kr'xxl of the K-Lernians stood before the High Council, his 12 eye stalks swaying with excitement. Humans, he declared, are a species unlike any we've encountered. His tendrils tapped at the hollow interface, displaying an analysis of Earth's dominant sentient life forms. They score remarkably high in empathy. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. Empathy was a rare trait among interstellar civilizations. Usually, species that evolved beyond their home planets relied on cold logic, military discipline, or sheer technological supremacy. Generosity off the charts, Kr'xxl continued. They go out of their way to assist others. It appears to be a cultural cornerstone. The murmurs grew louder, and Kr'xxl hesitated for a moment, his antennae quivering. They enjoy welcoming strangers. Silence. Complete. Stunned silence. Strangers? Supreme Elder Zorthrix finally spoke, his voice a low, vibrating hum. Yes, Your Eminence. They welcome them? Indeed, with open arms. The council chamber exploded. Preposterous! Impossible! This must be an error. Have they no concept of caution? Kr'xxl raised his appendages in a calming gesture. I understand your concerns, he said, but the data is conclusive. Their historical records show an innate desire to host others, often going to extreme lengths to ensure guests are comfortable. Zorthrix's central eye narrowed. Comfortable? How? Kr'xxl paused. Food, entertainment, music. Sometimes they exchange small decorative objects as gestures of goodwill. Zorthrix blinked, all 7 of his eyes. Decorative objects? They call them gifts. The room buzzed with disbelief. And you wish to visit this world? Yes, Your Eminence. I propose that we make contact, experience their hospitality firsthand. A pause. Then, very well. The skies over Earth shimmered as the Kalernian delegation descended in their luminescent starcraft. Humanity had waited for this moment. But Earth wasn't ready. Because when humans get excited, things escalate. They're here. It started as a whisper and then spread faster than a conspiracy theory on the internet. Aliens are landing. Call CNN. Fire up the grill. Somebody get Martha to make her famous casserole. Within minutes, Earth had done what it did best, overreacted. Banners were unfurled. Balloons filled the sky. Tables were dragged out into the streets. Entire neighborhoods mobilized as if hosting a galactic block party was an emergency response protocol. We need more chairs. Who's bringing dessert? Don't forget the gluten-free options. The delegation of K-Lernians, tall, regal, shimmering with bioluminescent grace, descended gently into Central Park. And they were met with chaos. Kr'xxl blinked, all 12 of his eye stalks moving independently to take in the scene. Is that a marching band? Vlorn, his aide, murmured, antennae twitching nervously. I believe so. Why are they waving sticks of fire? Those appear to be sparklers. And what is that noise? As a deafening blast of brass instruments erupted from the marching band. I believe it is a form of celebration. Vlorn's eye stalks swiveled toward a long, impossibly crowded table. Ambassador, I detect food. Kr'xxl turned and froze. What is that? It appears to be an assortment of edible offerings. Why is there so much? I do not know. The buffet stretched for miles, mountains of fried chicken, pyramids of cheeseburgers, platters of suspiciously gelatinous cubes that quivered ominously. Ambassador? Vlorn's voice was barely above a whisper. I think they expect us to partake. Partake? Kr'xxl's neural network glitched. Of all of it? I believe so. That is biologically impossible. Ambassador, Vlorn's appendages trembled. I think they've activated Phase 2. Phase 2? The aunties. Kr'xxl's membranes went cold. Oh no, a collective gasp echoed across the field as the aunties emerged. Plump, smiling, their arms loaded with casserole dishes, their eyes gleaming with terrifying maternal intensity. Oh, you're so thin, one cooed. Come here, let me fix that. Eat, eat. You're not leaving until you've tried my lasagna. Is that enough gravy? Take more. Kr'xxl backed away slowly. We must retreat. Ambassador, I believe, they mean well. Vlorn, Kr'xxl's voice was grim. You do not understand. Sir, surely we can. They have potato salad. Vlorn's eye stalks. With raisins? With raisins. Kr'xxl's membrane shuddered. We are not ready for this. Sir, permission to initiate emergency extraction protocol? Kr'xl's tendrils trembled. Denied. Vlorn, Kr'xl's voice was barely a whisper. If we leave now, they'll think we didn't like the food. But sir, we cannot offend them. A horrifying pause. And then, sir? Vlorn's voice quivered. They're bringing out dessert. Kr'xl's central eye twitched. May the cosmos have mercy on us. And so the greatest test of diplomacy in galactic history had begun. Not with war, not with negotiations, but with potluck. We can survive this. Kr'xl muttered, more to himself than anyone else. His tendrils twitched, glistening slightly from the unknown substances that coated them. We are ambassadors. We've withstood negotiations with the Vorklax, endured the mind melds of the Waitari, and survived the aroma pits of Glorm. But this was different. Across the vast expanse of Central Park, Phase 2 of human hospitality was in full effect. The buffet table, already a sprawling monument of excess, had doubled in size. More humans had arrived, carrying even more food. Some dishes glowed, others bubbled. Kr'xxl wasn't entirely sure if they were meant to be consumed or used for fuel. And the antes. Eat, 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 they chanted with unnerving enthusiasm. Kr'xxl could feel his internal nutrient processors straining to break down the avalanche of starch, proteins, and what was that gelatinous thing? It jiggled menacingly. Ambassador. Vlorn's voice trembled. His tendrils hung limp, his normally vibrant bioluminescence dimming to a sickly green. I can't absorb anymore. Hold on, Vlorn. Kr'xl's eyes darted wildly across the crowd, scanning for an escape route. There was none. Humans were everywhere, smiling, laughing, offering more food. Try the ambrosia, someone shouted. It's got marshmallows. More mac and cheese? Care for a third helping of lasagna? Have you tried the deviled eggs? Oh, you simply must. Save room for pie. Kr'xl's neural pathways screamed in panic. The Kalernian digestive system was designed to process micronutrients over weeks. But humans apparently expected them to consume an entire ecosystem in a single afternoon. Ambassador. Vlorn's tendrils quivered as he glanced toward a particularly large tray of brownies. Permission to collapse? Denied. Sir, Vlorn, we have protocols. Kr'xl's voice was firm, though his membranes sagged slightly from overconsumption. We must not offend them. They believe this is a gesture of goodwill. To refuse would be catastrophic. Vlorn's central eye blinked slowly. Catastrophic, how, sir? Kr'xxl hesitated, his eye stalks twitching with dread. Humans are emotional creatures. Vlorn blinked again, and when they're hurt, they become unpredictable. Vlorn's tendrils froze. How unpredictable? Kr'xl's memory banks flashed through countless cultural reports. They cry. Vlorn's eye stalks would cry, and then they insist on talking about it. No, yes. But what happens after that? Kr'xl's membranes quivered. They hug, with physical contact. Vlorn's entire form shrank. Not the touching. Yes, the touching. A horrified pause. Sir, permission to initiate hyperdrive escape? Denied. Please. Vlorn, we endure. That's what ambassadors do. But they're bringing out the pie. Kr'xl's 12 eyes locked onto the dessert table. A mountain of sugary chaos awaited. Pies, cakes, something called banana pudding that oozed with an alarming level of viscosity. And at the center, a multi-layered monstrosity of chocolate, peanut butter, and whipped cream that defied every known law of physics. It's so dense. Vlorn whispered in awe, his voice barely audible. I believe it's a Mississippi mud pie, Kr'xl murmured, his tendrils twitching involuntarily. Sir, Vlorn's voice cracked, that is not food. I know, Vlorn. That is a gravitational anomaly, correct. And they expect us to consume it? Sir, brace yourself. The antes closed in. You've barely touched the pie. Come on, honey, just one little bite. Don't be shy, it's homemade. Kr'xxl's internal caloric intake monitors screamed as another heaping plate was placed before him. For the coalition, he whispered to himself, tentacle trembling as he lifted the fork. Sir. Vlorn's voice was barely a whimper now. I think I'm losing consciousness. Stay with me, Vlorn. I see. Lights. Focus, Vlorn. The lights, there, calling me. That's just the Christmas decorations, Vlorn. Snap out of it. But it was too late. Vlorn's membranes flickered. His tendrils sagged. His neural pathways dimmed as his body slipped into a glucose-induced shutdown. Kr'xxl's eye stalks jerked violently. Vlorn? No response. Vlorn? Pie? Vlorn's last words echoed softly as his bioluminescence faded. Kr'xxl's mind raced. This was no longer a diplomatic mission. This was survival. The humans weren't trying to harm them, but their generosity was too powerful, too overwhelming. And now, Kr'xxl stood alone. Ambassador? A gentle human voice interrupted his panic. Kr'xxl's eye stalks swiveled in unison, locking onto an elderly woman holding a plate. Would you like some peach cobbler, dear? Kr'xxl's neural pathways short-circuited. Oh, don't be shy, just a little taste. But it's still warm. Warm? With a little ice cream on top. Kr'xxl's membranes convulsed. Ice cream? Just a scoop, blinked slowly. His tentacles shook, his nutrient processors were on the verge of collapse. Ambassador. Kr'xxl's 12 eyes narrowed in determination. For the coalition, he whispered, accepting the plate. As the first molten spoonful touched his membranes, Kr'xxl's neural pathways imploded. Sweet, tart, creamy, warm and cold at the same time. It was a sensory paradox. By the stars, Kr'xxl's voice was a trembling whisper. They've weaponized dessert. And as the cobbler melted into his biochemical core, Kr'xxl realized the horrifying truth. They weren't going to survive this. Not because of war, not because of conflict, but because humanity loved too hard. Kr'xxl's last coherent thought before his system overloaded. Merciful cosmos, if I perish, tell the council. We never stood a chance. Kr'xxl's consciousness flickered. His neural pathways struggled to reboot as his sensory systems dragged him back from the brink of oblivion. His membranes felt sticky. His tendrils twitched, heavy with residual sugars. His internal systems whined as they fought to metabolize the assault his body had just endured. Status report? Kr'xxl mumbled, his voice barely above a whisper. Ambassador. Vlorn's voice was weak, but it was there. Barely. Kr'xxl's eye stalks jerked toward his aide, who was slumped beside him, his bioluminescence flickering like a dying star. Vlorn, you're alive. Barely, sir. Vlorn's tendrils twitched weakly. I think I entered a sugar-induced stasis. Kr'xxl's neural circuits sputtered. You passed out? Sir, they fed me something called banana pudding. Vlorn's voice quivered as he recalled the horror. It had layers. Layers? Bananas? Wafers? Custard? And whipped cream. Vlorn's eye stalk shuddered. So much whipped cream. Kr'xxl's membranes contracted involuntarily. Did you absorb it all? I tried, sir. Vlorn's bioluminescence dimmed. But I lost consciousness somewhere between the second and third layer. You poor soul. Kr'xxl's appendages quivered as he reached out to steady his aide. We've underestimated them. Sir, what now? Vlorn's voice was barely above a whisper. Do we request extraction? Kr'xxl's central eye twitched. Negative. Sir, if we leave now, they'll think we didn't enjoy the meal. A horrified pause. Sir, you can't be serious. I am deadly serious, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's membranes hardened with resolve. Human customs dictate that refusal is an insult of the highest order. But sir, Vlorn's voice was trembling. Our digestive systems, they're on the verge of collapse. We have endured worse. Kr'xxl's eye stalks narrowed. Remember the salt mines of Zarnak? That was a mining operation, sir? And the radiation storms of Vex Prime? We had shielding? The aroma pits of Glorm? Vlorn's membranes twitched. Sir, please. We do not retreat, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's voice was steel. Not when the reputation of the coalition is at stake. Vlorn slowly. Sir, I'm not sure our reputation can survive, Peach Cobbler. It's not about Cobbler anymore, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's tone was grim. It's about honor. A moment of silence. Understood, sir. Vlorn's tendrils sagged in resignation. But, sir? Yes, Vlorn? The aunties are coming back. Kr'xxl's membranes froze. His 12 eye stalks jerked in unison, locking onto the approaching phalanx of elderly human women. They advanced, smiling, carrying new trays. More food, more offerings. Oh no, Ambassador, Vlorn's voice quivered. What do we do? Kr'xxl's neural pathways raced. Diplomacy was a delicate art. He had spent cycles training for the intricacies of interstellar negotiations. But this? This was war. A war fought not with weapons, but with casseroles and pie. We adapt. Kr'xxl's membranes hardened. We survive. How? By giving them, Kr'xxl's tendrils flexed with determination, what they want. What do they want, sir? Kr'xxl's 12 eyes narrowed. Approval? Humans. Kr'xl's voice was a whisper. They seek validation. They crave affirmation. It is a cultural imperative. So, we praise the food? We do not just praise it, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's eye stalks twitched with grim resolve. We exaggerate. A horrified pause. Sir, you're suggesting deception? Not deception, Vlorn. Kr'xxl quivered. Diplomatic enhancement. Sir, I don't know if I have the strength. Vlorn's tendrils drooped. You can do this, Vlorn. Kr'xl's voice was soft but firm. For the coalition. For the coalition. Vlorn's voice was barely a whisper. The aunties arrived. Did y'all leave room for dessert? Try this peach cobbler, honey. Oh, and don't forget the pecan pie. I made some fudge just in case. And look, Janice brought her famous triple-layer chocolate cake. Kr'xl's eye stalks twitched violently. Vlorn? Voice was barely audible. Yes, sir? Activate. Protocol. Understood, sir. Commence excessive enthusiasm. Vlorn's membranes quivered. His tendrils twitched. His eye stalks narrowed. Initiating now. Kr'xl's tendrils reached for a plate. Oh, my stars! His voice trembled with exaggerated awe. This is divine. Vlorn's tentacles shuddered as he lifted a spoonful of cobbler to his sensory membranes. By the cosmos, he gasped. It's like tasting the birth of a star. Such complexity. Eyes rolled dramatically. The balance of sweetness, the warmth, his voice hitched for effect. The love. The aunties beamed. Oh, bless your hearts. You boys are just too kind. More cobbler? Kr'xl's membranes convulsed, but he smiled. Yes, please. How about a little ice cream on top? That would be delightful. Vlorn's tendrils trembled. I can't hold much longer. Stay strong, Vlorn. Sir, my membranes. Focus on the validation. The aunties were glowing with pride. Oh, you boys are just precious. We love seeing good eaters. Come back anytime. Kr'xl's tendrils quivered. He knew what was happening. They had won. Vlorn, sir? We've done it. Vlorn's eye stalks blinked weakly. Sir, I think I can see the stars. That's just the Christmas lights. Vlorn? Oh, they're pretty. Stay with me, Vlorn. But Vlorn's membranes dim barely caught him before his body slumped to the ground. Rest, brave soul. Kr'xxl murmured softly. You've done your duty. Did we succeed, sir? Kr'xl's 12 eye stalks turned toward the aunties. They were smiling. Yes, Vlorn. Kr'xl's voice was barely above a whisper. We succeeded. But as he glanced at the next wave of desserts approaching, his membranes quivered with dread. For now, retreat? Kr'xl's voice was barely a whisper, but the word echoed in his mind like a supernova. His tendrils trembled, his neural pathways struggling to maintain coherence. The sensory overload had reached critical levels. Sugar, fats, spices, something pickled. His biological systems were in revolt, sending distress signals that screamed, evacuate immediately. But there was no escape. The aunties stood guard, their smiles warm but unyielding. More cobbler, sweetheart? One of them, the one with the glittering earrings and a voice softer than a neutron cloud, hovered closer, holding a plate that steamed gently. Kr'xl's 12 eyes twitched. He had survived 3 helpings of peach cobbler. A 4th was not possible. His neural matrix calculated the probability of metabolic collapse at 89.7%. The other 10.3%? Reserved for spontaneous self-combustion. Ambassador! Vlorn's voice was faint, barely a vibration in the air. His bioluminescence had dimmed to a pitiful flicker. I can't. His tendrils lay limp, his membranes swollen with a lethal concentration of carbohydrates. Hold on, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's voice was strained. We're almost there. Sir, I see. A tunnel. Vlorn's eye stalks drooped. There's light. That's just the neighbor's Christmas decorations, Vlorn. So bright. Kr'xxl's 12 eye stalks swiveled wildly. Focus, Vlorn. His mind raced for a solution, some way to escape this gravitational pull of endless hospitality. Every attempt at subtle withdrawal had been met with greater enthusiasm. The humans meant well, but their generosity was relentless. Ambassador, honey, a new voice, sweet, friendly. Y'all didn't get to try my fudge yet. Kr'xxl's membranes froze. Fudge, dark, dense, molecularly unstable. Oh no, it's my mama's recipe, she chirped cheerfully, her smile radiant, made with real cream and butter and a touch of love. Kr'xxl's neural circuits fizzled. Love. That was the problem. Humans didn't just prepare food, they infused it with emotion, with care. Every bite delivered not just calories, but feelings. Kr'xxl's tendrils twitched violently. I can't. Oh, come on now, just a little piece. Kr'xxl's neural matrix spiraled. He could feel the fabric of reality tearing at the edges. His internal biosensors had begun emitting emergency signals, but they were being drowned out by the relentless waves of human affection. Just one bite. Kr'xxl's tendrils jerked. His sensory membrane quivered. Time slowed. He watched, helpless, as a perfectly cut square of fudge hovered closer. No, the fudge touched his sensory membrane. Kr'xxl's world shattered. The flavor imploded through his neural pathways, dense, sweet, decadent. His biochemical core convulsed. His membranes quaked. His 12 eye stalks flashed wildly, each one displaying a different interpretation of cosmic horror. By the stars, Kr'xxl's neural grid collapsed. His mind was gone, lost in a sugary void where butter and cocoa ruled with iron fists. Memories of his homeworld flickered. The crystal gardens of Kalern, the serene biolakes of Velthra, the gentle hum of the Glurnian moon, all fading. Is this how it ends? Ambassador. Vlorn's voice was a distant whisper, barely registering in Kr'xxl's disintegrating consciousness. Sir? Kr'xxl's mind fought to stabilize. He couldn't let it end like this. Not here. Not over fudge. Focus. Kr'xxl's neural core groaned as he forced his consciousness to reboot. Remember, the protocols. Protocols. Emergency diplomatic retreat. Vlorn. Kr'xxl's voice was a weak, static pulse. Initiate extraction protocol. Sir, but we. Vlorn's membranes quivered. We haven't finished dessert. Forget dessert. Kr'xxl's tendrils twitched violently. Initiate now. Vlorn's central eye stalk jerked. Understood, sir. Code? Galactic goodbye. Vlorn's sensory processors flickered to life. Engaging, subroutine, polite withdrawal. Kr'xxl's tendrils tightened. This was it. Their only chance. The most sacred maneuver in diplomatic history. Feign, fullness. Vlorn's neural grid shifted. His membranes quivered as he mustered every ounce of his remaining strength. Oh my, Vlorn's voice trembled. I couldn't possibly. So full. Kr'xxl's 12 eye stalks wobbled, his tendrils twitching as he mimicked the universally recognized post-feast fatigue. Oh, bless your hearts. The aunties beamed, glowing with pride. Y'all ate so much. We did. Kr'xxl's voice quavered, his sensory membranes sagging dramatically. Such an exquisite experience. I don't think I've ever been so full. Vlorn's bioluminescence flickered feebly. Oh, honey, we can wrap some up for y'all to take home. No. Kr'xxl's voice cracked, his tendrils twitching wildly. Vlorn's neural circuits scrambled. We wouldn't want to impose. Nonsense. Sugar. Really, we insist. Kr'xxl's membranes convulsed. It's fine, really. Vlorn's eye stalks twitched. Just a little to-go plate. We, have interstellar dietary restrictions. Bless your hearts. Well, y'all just let us know if you change your minds. Kr'xxl's neural pathways sputtered. They had done it. Phase 1, complete. Vlorn. Kr'xxl's voice was barely audible. Initiate Phase 2. Understood, sir. Vlorn's tendrils trembled as he activated the final maneuver, gratitude and retreat. Kr'xxl's 12 eye stalks locked onto the aunties. Your hospitality, his voice quaked with forced reverence, has been overwhelming. Y'all are just the sweetest things. We will remember this always. Come back anytime, sugar. We will. Kr'xxl's membranes quivered. Ambassador. Vlorn's voice faltered. Almost there, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's sensory core pulsed. One last step. Bow. Vlorn's tendrils twitched. Now, both Kalernians inclined their forms, a gesture of deepest respect. Goodbye. The aunties smiled. Y'all take care now. Initiate warp Kr'xxl's membrane shook. Go! A blinding flash erupted as the Kalernian shuttle burst into the sky, leaving behind a faint shimmer of biolight and the scent of pecan pie. Kr'xxl collapsed in his command seat, his tendrils limp, his neural matrix barely functioning. Sir, Vlorn's voice was a whisper. Did we make it? Yes, Vlorn. Kr'xxl's eye stalks twitched weakly. We survived. A long pause. Barely. Kr'xxl's membrane sagged. But at what cost? Silence filled the ship. Then, sir? Yes, Vlorn? Why do I? Still smell? Cobbler? Oh no. Kr'xxl's 12-eye stalks widened in terror. Vlorn? Yes, sir? Check the cargo bay. A pause. Sir? Vlorn's voice was horrified. They sent the leftovers. Kr'xxl's neural core short-circuited. Merciful cosmos. And as the Kalernian vessel drifted into the void, the cobbler remained.